Yes, people, welcome to the Player Rating Show. Manchester United have drawn by 2-2 against Liverpool here at Old Trafford. Let's get straight into it. Andre Onana. Couldn't do anything about the 2 goals. Obviously, one was a penalty, second one, back stick, Luis Diaz. There wasn't anything he could do there. Distribution was okay. Made some decent saves in the first half. Saves he should make, but some good saves. I'll go for a 6. I think that's fair for Andre. Played out of the back quite well. One time he sold Cody Gakpo over a little Cruyff turn. But overall, it wasn't like he had an amazing game because he was called into action loads. But the saves he should make, he did. And the goals that went in, again, what can you really do? Diogo Dalot at right back. I'm going to give Diogo Dalot, he was pretty solid. I'll give him a, don't know, sometimes he was really physical and really good, you know. Driving with the ball. You know, some good passes into midfield as well, especially in the second half whenever there was something good that we did do. Diogo Dalot was part of it. He was one of the main pieces, but it was few and far between. But he did his job. I'll go over 6. I'll go over 6 because overall our performance, like I said, it wasn't great. It was more about steel. It was all about, you know, a little bit of heart and showing a little bit of desire and winning your duels. And Dalot did that to a certain extent. Some other times, you know, ball went over his head a couple of times, maybe not so great, but overall I think he was okay. I'll give him a 6. Let's go in at centre-back now. I'm going to go with Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire I think he was pretty solid today, Harry Maguire, actually. There was a couple of moments where he was a bit nervy. What was a time when he sort of, a couple of dodgy clearances sort of straight up in the air. But he was up for the fight. He wanted to step in. He wasn't scared. Didn't get caught in bad positions. Won his headers. I'd probably give him a 6 as well, though. I'll give him a 6 as well. I think he won his battles. He had his heart in his sleeve, and he did what needed to be done. He didn't give away anything stupid. But again, with how little protection you had in front of him in midfield, to be run at that much, it could have been a lot worse. So maybe he should really get a 7, you know, because Willy Kambwala's going to get a high mark. But actually, you know what? I'm going to give him a 7 just because, like, him and Willy Kambwala had to face a lot. And obviously, I haven't seen it back yet. See, people are seeing the players leave now as well. But yeah, we didn't have control. So those guys were just getting, Rashford's leaving now. Those guys didn't get a lot of protection. So I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7. Then on to Willy Kambwala, my man of the match. He was absolutely immense. He had his heart on his sleeve, you know, coming through the academy and you know, playing youth football, to then come through and play in a game like of this magnitude was just unreal. And the fact that he did that with no sweat, he did that with no panicking, he did that with sort of, you know, whilst he was geeing up the crowd as well. I'm going to give him an 8. I think he was absolutely outstanding. And he probably deserved to be on a team today that actually won the game. I know in the context of our performance, how would we expect to win a game like that? But he was very, very good. And if you're looking at one for the future, if you're looking at someone who can come in and show that they can be part of this squad, maybe you're looking at Willy Kambwala. Maybe you're looking at him saying, you know what? I can actually be part of this, and when the manager calls me and I'm needed out of the blue, I can come here and I can do a job. So he was excellent against Núñez on the ground, in the air. There was last-ditch tackles where he's getting his feet to things. He was just excellent. So a big shout out to Willy Kambwala. Really good for him. Left back Aaron Wan-Bissaka, man. Do you know what? Actually, apart from I know it's a big part, but the penalty he gives away is a really silly penalty. The last time I saw it, I've only seen it once. Seeing it in real time when I saw it, I thought, I just don't know why he's done it. I don't know why he's done it. He's just panicked. You know, that Rio is speaking to me about the scars of the last couple of games when you're in these types of situations and you want to see the game out and you know you've just conceded late against Chelsea. You know you've conceded late against Brentford. They play on your mind. And I feel like that is kind of where it was at. And he just made a nervous sort of knee-jerk reaction, silly tackle. And he gives away penalties. But other than that, he was good. He was okay. He was good in his duels. He was up and down. It's not easy to go against Salah, but he did okay. But I'll go with a 6. I'll go over 6. Into midfield, Casemiro. I'm going to give him a 6. We had a mixed bag. Do you know what? The first 15, 20 minutes, Casemiro was really good. He was flying into tackles. He was dispossessing players. He was winning duels. And then the more the game went on, the bigger the gap got in midfield. The more he started to give it away, the more he got run past, which ain't all his fault. It's our setup and it's how we are. But he didn't go on to have an amazing game after that. But the first 15, 20 minutes, I give it to him. But overall, it's just our midfield was probably our worst area of the pitch. It's the area that needs the most work. So I'd probably give Casemiro a 5. Seems a bit harsh, but I'll be honest. No, I'll go with 6. He put his heart on his sleeve, and I'll give him an average. Yeah, I'm in a different surroundings. I am. Who cares? Mainoo. Mainoo.
The main man.
The main man, Mainoo. His whole game actually wasn't that good today. It wasn't. But that's because, again, we're seeing the deficiencies in the midfield. Kobbie can't cover all that space. People are running past him. Same with Casemiro, because we're not set up correctly in midfield. But my God, that goal that he scored, he gets the ball off Wan-Bissaka, takes a little half turn. He just strokes it into the top corner like it's nothing. Like it's the audacity of it. Like he's just playing beyond his years. He's playing beyond his years. And look, he isn't always going to get it right. The last couple of games against Chelsea, and obviously now in terms of on the ball and being really proactive on it, he's given away a couple of passes here and there. And again, he's playing an awful lot of games, and it's part of the learning curve. But when he does things like that, it also shows us that he's better when he's playing slightly further forward. And this is what I'm saying. I don't see Kobbie as just a pure sitting 6. One, because like the mobility aspect of it is just not his strongest point, and 2, he's better than that. He can offer us way more than that. When he's in the edge of the opponent's box, or when he's arriving late, he's clearly got an eye for goal. He's clearly got an eye for a pass. He's got quick feet. He needs to be operating further forward in our midfield at the right times, and not be sort of hung out to dry deeper, trying to put out fires. That's not, for me, where I see Kobbie Mainoo's game going. I see it as like an 8, getting involved when we got some security behind him, and he can go and influence the game, get on the ball, and there's someone who can cover the long distance running and the big engine to get about the pitch. So Kobbie Mainoo, I'm going to give, for the goal, it was absolutely fantastic. He's got to get a 7. He's got to get a 7. Overall, his performance probably wasn't as good as it maybe could have been, but the goal makes it an 8. So the goal was so good. I'm going to give him an 8 for that. I'm going to give him 2 extra marks because you need to be positive. We ain't got much to shout about, especially for the rest of the season. So Kobbie, I'm going to give an 8. Bruno, what a great finish as well. Was it Kwanzaa who gave him the ball? I think it was. Fantastic finish. I think it was first time. He gets it, puts it over Kelleher's head into the goal, and it was a brilliant first-time finish from Bruno. And you know what? The rest of the game, he wasn't amazing. He put a lot of effort in, which he always does. He was probably playing about a 5 or a 6 for that. But I've got to keep the energy consistent, just to be a bit shameless. I'm just going to give an extra mark of what I would have given him for the goal. So I'll give Bruno a 7 because he scored that goal. But really, he was operating at like a 6, to be honest. He was average. Gave the ball away quite a few times, moaning a little bit, fouls, etc., etc. Got run past quite a bit as well. But again, midfield's not set up properly. I'm fed up of saying it. All 3 of them get run past. The front line, Marcus Rashford, I'll give him an average 6. He looked in the mood. He was trying. He was tracking back, putting a couple tackles on Conor Bradley, get the crowd up at points. But again, the way we play, it wasn't like we got the ball to him loads and he could isolate his fullback. He did okay. I don't think it was like, Rashford's not moving again. He's not trying. He was trying. He got into a couple of dangerous positions, but again, not outstanding. But I'll give Rashi a 6 for today. Rasmus Højlund, again, I'll probably give Rasmus a 6 as well. Fairly average, but he trying to get involved in the game, couldn't really do it a lot. It was. What would you give him? 5 for Rasmus. Yeah, the gentleman down there, he's gone with a 5. I wouldn't give a 6. I mean, small potatoes. Because to me, I just say the 6 is the average and then it comes down. But he's gone with a 5. I can see why. But I think with my ratings of how I'm giving the average performances, I'm just going to say the 6. But I mean, you guys might disagree and say Rashford was the 5 and Rasmus was the 6. You might say they were both 5s, but they were, they weren't involved loads. You know what I mean? But they didn't do loads wrong, but they weren't involved loads, and it was difficult. Rasmus don't even think had a shot that I can. Obviously went round the keeper, but it was offside. But yeah, fairly quiet game for him. Garnacho, okay in transition, a few flashes, but again, flat 6 of the front 3. Again, they were quite flat because we didn't really create that many chances. It was Liverpool dominating us. Liverpool should have won the game or put the game out of sight, and because they didn't, we ended up getting into a winning position. So I can't let that give me a false dawn that players were, like where they were fighting and really good like the first time we played them in the FA Cup. So again, I think it's quite average across the front 3. Into the substitutions, Mason Mount came on, flat 6. Amrabat couldn't really help us in terms of getting a foot on the ball when we were struggling and the ball kept coming back and coming back. He was just probably 5 again. Mason Mount 5. Who else came off the bench? Anthony actually came on and did really well in the first sort of 5-10 minutes of him being on. Then he got a bit frustrated with a few tackles that didn't go his way. He started putting his arms up a little bit, had a shot towards the end. That was the big gasp. I was like, is that going to be the Ahmad moment? Is Anthony going to tuck this away? And it was a pretty tame shot of Kelleher, but he came on and did well. And I think he's going to be due a start soon, Anthony. I think he's doing all right. He's doing all right at the minute. I'll give him a flat 6. Who else are we missing? I think that's it out of the substitutions. I think I've covered it there. Yeah. No one else. Yeah. And then Ten Hag. Game of two halves, isn't it? I mean, we got outplayed, we got dominated for quite a bit. Middle of the road, because it's the same problems. It's the same problems that keep occurring. I'll probably say it's 5. I'll probably say a 5 because he sets us up on the transitions, and the transitions end up working to give us chances to be able to win the game. But we see that it's not sustainable, and it keeps happening, and that we can't keep playing like that. So I'll probably say a 5. So there you go. On to the next. So let me know what you think of these ratings. Take care. I'm out of here. Peace.